The Oklahoma City Thunder last year finished their season with a record of 40-42, and while it was well acknowledged that this team had a ton of talent, I don't think anybody expected them to take this big of a leap this season. And one of the biggest factors to this team's success has been the play of Chet Holmgren, who fills in the cracks perfectly with what this Thunder team needed. And I think this playoff series against Dallas is perfectly showing that. Now, I think Chet easily has his biggest impact on the defensive end. The Thunder's defense last year gave up over 50 points in the paint per game, and it was pretty obvious that this team was desperately missing some vertical rim protection. But this year, OKC has definitely found that in Holmgren. In his first NBA season, Chet has already established himself as one of the best paint protectors across the league. And per 36 minutes in the playoffs, Chet has a massive lead for the most blocks. Now, standing at 7 feet with a ridiculous 7'6" wingspan, Chet obviously has the size and length to rack up plenty of blocks. But Chet also has a bunch of other underrated physical attributes. The first thing we should look at is Holmgren's strength. Coming into the league, many scouts were worried about Chet's physical frame and him not being able to hold his ground against bully ball centers. And while I do think there are a few bad matchups for Chet across the league, I still think he surprised most people with how stable he is down low.
Lively, pivot,
You'll see Derrick Jones on this play catch on the short roll, then explode up and attack Chet's body. But notice how Holmgren has the stability to keep his base, to then extend up and eliminate the shot. We can see the same thing here, where Dallas is again running this pick and roll with an empty corner, and Lively is going to catch this pocket pass with some momentum going towards the basket. But Chet's able to extend up and meet him at the height of his jump, to then absorb this bump and stuff this dunk. And then on the floor, I also think Holmgren has really good mobility, being able to move his feet and stay in front of quicker guards, where he can then use his size to eliminate their shot. And that foot speed also makes Chet a really good drop defender in pick and roll. Watch him here slide over and prevent the ball from coming downhill, to then put himself in position to take away the pass to the roller. And from this spot, Chet also has the reach to recover back to the ball and swap this layup. And that foot speed also allows Chet to scramble and quickly cover ground on the floor. You'll see the Thunder on this play double Luka at half court, but Doncic is able to knife this pocket pass through and give Tim Hardaway all this space to play with. But watch how Chet's going to step up and stop the ball, then hop back down towards the block and meet PJ Washington at the rim. And that combination of size, strength, and quickness also allows Chet to be comfortable guarding the ball in open space. Right here, he's picking up Kyrie Irving on the break, who's easily one of the toughest players to deal with in transition. But Chet has the foot speed to stay in front, the strength to absorb this contact, and the length to tie up the ball. Now, when moving on and looking at Chet's offense, he's been doing most of his work this postseason as a pick and roll man, where obviously his size and reach makes him an easy above the rim lob threat. But on top of that vertical presence, I also think Chet's quickness plays a big factor in him racking up these easy buckets, being able to dart down and get himself behind the drop defender, where he then has all this space to explode towards the rim. Watch him here slip out of the screen and get himself behind Dereck Lively, who's playing and drop. And Jalen Williams from here just has to put the ball up towards the glass and let Holmgren do the rest. And that off-ball speed also makes Chet an effective cutter, where he has a good feel of blasting into open space and creating more high-quality looks at the rim. And then on top of Chet's ability to roll and cut downhill to put pressure on the rim, he can also pop out behind the line and knock down threes. And while his percentages against Dallas haven't really been great so far, he's still a good enough shooter that the defense has to step out and respect him, which then opens up Holmgren's game off the bounce. And I think this has been Holmgren's biggest weakness this year. In the first couple of months of this season, Chet's game off the dribble was really shaky. Because Holmgren has so much size, he's going to naturally be more vulnerable with the ball, because it's easier for the defense to get underneath them and find windows to poke the ball free. And during this time, Chet wasn't great at using his body to protect the ball. And whenever he tried to initiate drives off the dribble, he almost exclusively did it squared up. which isn't a recipe for success for a 7-foot ball handler. But jumping forward to today, I think Chet has a much more stable and dynamic game off the dribble. Whenever he drops down into a drive, he always keeps his shoulders low and the ball out wide. Plus, he's also active with his off arm to carve out driving lines. And with the ball, I also think Chet has way more patience and awareness. You'll see him on this play going at PJ Washington, who's an elite perimeter defender. And instead of squaring up and trying to hit him with a combo, Chet's going to turn his body and transition into a post-up, where he's able to both protect the ball and work PJ down, where he can then use his size to rise up and over him for this baseline jumper. Now, most of Holmgren's attacks off the dribble come back to his outside scoring. Because Chet is such a tall and lengthy shooter, he can easily rise over the defense if they don't meet him out beyond the 3. So off the catch, Holmgren consistently draws some pretty heavy closeouts, which then opens up his downhill scoring. And when attacking off the catch, Chet's ability to protect the ball with his shoulders and length also plays a big factor. And that's all I think he really needs. Because once Chet works his way to these in-between spots, he has all the size and touch to get plenty of buckets. You'll see him here off the catch attack back into Gafford's gravity. And again, notice how he swipes with that off arm and lowers his inside shoulder into Gafford's chest. And Chet from here has the balance to stop and turn out into a stable jumper. Now he misses this shot, but I still think this is a good look for Holmgren. He's going to get into a similar shot on this play, where Chet cuts down into open space, and when he catches, watch him take one dribble and turn out into this 1-foot Dirk fade. This is also a nice shot here, where Chet's going to pick and pop out towards the 3, and as Derrick Jones is closing out, Chet's going to rip back into his momentum. And when Dallas sinks down and collapses the paint, Chet's going to rise up for a soft 8-foot floater. Now, I also think Chet is a pretty good passer. He doesn't make super advanced reads with the ball, but what I do love is that Chet's not a ball stopper. If he's not going to catch into a shot or dribble drive, he's always looking to move the ball and keep the defense in rotation. And his versatile skill set fits really well in the Thunder's free-flowing offense, because the defense has to respect Holmgren as both a shooter and slasher. So with the ball, Chet can pull some aggressive rotations. And when you pair Holmgren's gravity along with his willingness to keep the ball in motion, he does naturally generate some really good offense. Take this play for example. Josh Giddey is going to pitch the ball to Holmgren, then run into a ball screen, and Chet's going to take one dribble and get into this handoff with J-Dub, which then leads to an easy in-rhythm pull-up. And again, nobody on OKC made any super advanced read. This was just simply moving the ball and finding the best shot. So in his rookie year, Chet Holmgren is already having a huge impact on both sides of the ball. I think his rim protection is the biggest reason why the Thunder's defense took a huge step forward. And then offensively, I think his ability to both roll to the basket and step out and pop threes is enough by itself to make him a great fit alongside OKC stars. And then on top of that, Chet's creation off the dribble keeps getting better and better with each passing month. If you enjoyed this breakdown, please like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments what you think of Chet Holmgren's game. The Kids here.